the wrist area of the glove. Now pay attention right about there. There it is. You can tell his fist is right around the outside of that red tape. Look, here it is again. His wrist is bending over 90 degrees. And he's kind of throwing that bag inside his hand. Look, there it is. Boom. Now here's the big one. Watch how flappy his arm goes all the way back. Boom. And then boom, he hits him with the side of it. And look how long his forearm is. His thumb is way over there from his wrist. No.
Yo, my dons, make sure you hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and obviously hit the bell for notifications. So we just heard there from a Wilder fangirl, and you now see on your screen a picture from Barbershop Conversations. Man, these dons are clutching at straws. At least when AJ lost, we came with some logic. Our stuff was pure light. There weren't no in between. These dons are putting up pictures of stuff that don't even make sense. These men are taking clips from stuff that didn't even take place. So let's do this chronological. Let's do this in chronological order. So the first video you see. Oh man, the gloves flapping. Tyson Fury's gloves flapping. Well, guess what, boss man? I hate to break it to you. I really do. But this video was of the first fight. So whatever you want this to say, this is a video of the first fight. For example, Wilder vs Fury 2, both men had black trunks. Pure black. Fury clearly in the video has gold trunks on, or half gold. Go and check. There was no gold band and no gold line, thick line on Fury's shorts in the second fight. Secondly, Wilder had gold gloves in the first fight, which is what you see on your screen. In the second fight, he wore black gloves. Fury had green for both, but they're the two inaccuracies. That just divides the two different fights. So even if this was the case, that Fury's gloves were flappy, which didn't really make sense because he didn't have any power in the first fight, but still, what's that got to do with the second fight? Because the second fight, where's the flappiness? And to be honest, I can actually explain, even though I've just debunked a whole lot of it just then there. This is the first fight, so it's completely irrelevant. Got nothing. Even if there was pure even if there was kryptonite in Fury's gloves, even if this video exposed kryptonite in Fury's gloves, it wouldn't matter because it was the first fight anyway. Yeah? Let's not forget that. However, even if... Let's put it to one side for a second. I can also explain why Fury's gloves are moving that way. Number one, what do we know about Fury? Fury himself has talked about how... Well, we know Fury's jab. I've talked about it. Fury's jab is not really a jab. It's a flicky. He used to flick his hand back and forth. That's why he's been quoted as saying, in the build-up to Wilder vs Fury 2, Fury's been quoted as saying he's been getting really frustrated because he couldn't get it. He couldn't grasp the concepts from the Kronk. He couldn't grasp the concepts of a stiff jab and a stiff right hand kind of thing. And this is why. Because he flicks. He flicks his hands, double flicks, backhand flicks. And Fury's been notoriously told off by referees for doing it, for flicking his wrist. And that's what you see here, Fury flicking his wrist. Now, why does it look so prominent? Well, literally, put your hand out in front of you and move your wrist back and forth. What happens? It flops. So if you put your hand in a glove and you do the same, it's going to flop back and forth. Now, not only that, you also have to consider these gloves, when they fill up with sweat, they become very, they're like almost like a dry, fresh pair of gloves will maintain its form. However, a sodden, and you remember these guys, they have water poured on them, they have sweat dripping off them. See what I'm trying to say? A lot of water get into them gloves, sweat, a lot of hand sweat gets into them as well. Because you've got to bear in mind, they warm up in these gloves as well. These gloves have been on for a good hour and a half. Plus, they've had water on them and sweat in them and etc, etc. So what happens is, dry gloves hold their form, but wet gloves, they almost become like a damp cloth. Floppy. They lose their form. So combine the two. Combine Fury's poor technique in the first fight with the damp. You can combine the dampness of the glove with Fury's poor technique, and that's why you get the exaggerated floppiness. And that's why Fury couldn't hurt Wilder for nothing in the first fight, really, because he weren't punching properly. Now, one thing we do know, you won't see any of this in the second fight, because Fury was piking his jab. He was STAB-ing it nicely. How you meant to, stepping in with it. Not backhanding it. So that there is that completely debunked. Even if it was that day. Even if it wasn't a different fight. Still debunked. No problem. We can do it either way. You can get it any way you want. Anyway, let's move on now to barbershop conversations. He says, look at his right glove. Who got questions? Now, I don't know about you, man, but look at his right glove. Who's got questions? I don't know what he's talking about, if the truth be known. What is he talking about? Honestly, genuinely, who's got questions? I have got no questions whatsoever. How about that, Mr. Barbershop? How about I've got no questions for you? Muppet. Now, after reading the comments, Barbershop is essentially saying that this glove looks like a glove with no padding in. Now, I don't know about you, man, but this glove looks like a brand spanking new one to me. Now, I'm a pro in not new gloves. In fact, we've actually done videos on Fury with dodgy padding in gloves, and this glove ain't one of them. This glove is his character. It's full of character, shiny, bulbous, plump. I don't know what like the other Fury's other glove, that dodgy one. It was empty. It was floppy. This is a brand new spanking new glove. And besides, anyway, number one, the commission watch you put the gloves on. Number two, Wilder's team watch you select the gloves, and the commission hold the gloves, and Wilder's team let you wrap your hands, etc, etc, etc. All these different fail safes are in there. So please, someone explain what you're talking about, please. And besides, Fury's got pillow fists anyway, so what difference does it make? And you know what I might do, I'm pretty sure, well, I was about to say I'm pretty sure Fury took his gloves off after the fight, and he did, but that would be irrelevant. They're saying there's no padding in them. Listen, Fury's got no power, so your man Wilder said he had no power. So no power plus no padding should make us grab a difference. Although, having said that, it's wrong anyway, because the glove to me looks perfectly fine. I'm sitting there looking at it. The crease, you see the crease part here? That's literally how brand new it is. When you've worn gloves for a while and the sweat's got into it, you won't see them little leather creases there. They'll kind of iron out. That glove is brand spanking new. The leather's like shining and plump. And this is the problem, you see. When you have a lot of people who have never boxed a day in their life, or never even put a pair of boxing gloves on, they ain't got a clue what they're looking at. They haven't got a clue what they're talking about either. Yeah? Not even a clue. Now, I understand, to be fair to them. Well, I don't actually. I can't lie. I was about to try and justify it, but I can't understand it. It's dread, man. How can you got to be desperate. But come on then. Listen. What do we know? Their own champions talking about how, oh man, well, it was my robe. My walkout costume was very heavy. You've got him saying that, so can you really blame him? I can't. You know what I mean? You can't really blame them when he's talking about his robe was too damn heavy. Anyway, madness. These man, it's hella funny watching these men lose their head. Too funny. Oh yeah! And before I go, I've just had a massive thought. I completely forgot. Another reason. Yeah? Let's assume these gloves do look a little dented. Let's assume they do look a little bit as if they've had padding taken out of them. I've just clocked what it is now. I can't believe I haven't mentioned this earlier, but don't worry, it's better late than never. The reason why, I don't think they do, but if they do look like there's a dent in them, if they do look like the padding's been bashed down, that's because your man Wilder's head has been rattling off of them. Does that make sense? Fury's hands have been in there, sweating and moistening up the leather and the padding. Then, when that moisted leather and padding licked off, rattled off Wilder's clot, not only once, how many times did Fury's right hand rattle off Wilder's clot? Many times. That there is going to cause a dent in the leather. That there is going to cause a deformity. Yeah? Your mum was being bashed pillar to post by 270 pound, 6'9", 205 centimetre inside fighting man. Yeah? You put a 205 centimetre, 6'9", 275 pound man in them gloves and get him sweaty and start rattling shots off. Fury had a heavy bag session with your man in there. What do you expect? No word of a lie. You buy a brand new pair of gloves, yeah? A lot of you can't even talk about this because barbershop, you're 5'7", so you wouldn't know anything about this, yeah? But if anyone who's like 270 pounds and 6'9" and a trained man, any trained man, any half trained, half cronk trained 6'9", 270 pound man, go on the bag for 40 minutes. With a brand new pair of gloves, and you tell me if there's dents in them. Guarantee you there is. And that's what Fury did that night. He was on a heavy bag session, picking what he wanted to do. Left hook to the body, I'll drop him to the body, then I'll ding him up top. He was doing what he wanted with him, was he not? That's where the dents come from. You need to blame your man Wilder for being a heavy bag. Maybe if he had some head movement or some foot movement, Fury wouldn't have been able to tee off on him, and therefore it wouldn't have broke the padding down in his gloves. Peak for you.